All right, another big reason people are flocking to the town halls to protest Obama, and this is ideologically, I think, one of the most interesting. It is to defend Medicare. People are out there defending the New Deal, defending the Great Society of Lyndon B. Johnson. I'll just call that the New Deal. I call Great Society essentially the late New Deal. New Deal starts with Roosevelt. It's knocked off balance by Truman. It's then, I think, administered rather well by Eisenhower. Those are some of the most successful years. Kennedy attempts to revive the New Deal or expand it in grand style. We know what happened to him. And then with Johnson, with Medicare in particular, and Medicaid and food stamps, you get the crowning achievements of the late New Deal. A lot of the older people are out there. They want to defend Medicare against Obama. They want to defend the New Deal against Obama, the Wall Street puppet. This is absolutely fundamental. You leftists have got to see this. If you don't see that, you don't see anything. The older people are belonging to the baby boom generation, right? A lot of them are. There's some who are even older. There's some silent generation types and even some GI types left over. But of the people who are out there in these meetings, they don't want the Medicare cuts. They're defending the New Deal, the Great Society, the late New Deal, against the attacks of Obama, the Wall Street stooge, Obama, the Wall Street puppet. This is fundamental. In specifics, the Obama plan calls for gouging Medicare even more than under Mad Dog Bush the Younger. Mad Dog Bush the Younger mercilessly gouged and chiseled and cut the reimbursements to hospitals and to physicians paid by Medicare. Medicare is a tremendously successful program. It lowered the mortality rate of people over 65 by 20%, 1/5 fewer deaths for people over 65. This means we ought to do a statistic, and I've been looking on the internet. Maybe if we have some actuaries out there, you can find the number of human lifetime years, man years or person years, that have been saved by Medicare. You go back and look at the rates of mortality among people over 65 in the 1950s up to 1965 and compare them to what we have today or over the life of the program. You will see that the idea of a comfortable, dignified old age, not given over to poverty, not given over to horrendous diseases, this is Medicare. People are going to fight for it. I will fight for it here, and I'll fight for it continuously. That's why I'm against Obama. Obama's plan says we're going to take the existing depleted Medicare, already wrecked by Mad Dog Bush, and then we're going to gouge it more. The gouging is estimated to be in the area of $500 billion to $600 billion to be gouged and chiseled out of Medicare by Obama to pay for bigger and better bailouts to Wall Street and the New England insurance companies. Let's say Wall Street and Hartford. How about that? Wall Street, Hartford, Boston. Those, not even the people, but the financial institutions are going to be the beneficiaries. And that, of course, is also rationing. That's a death board right there. Why? Well, the problem is when you begin to get the Medicare reimbursement rate below the level of what the procedure actually costs, the hospital won't do it anymore. They'll say, yes, this lady would like to have a mastectomy, but the Medicare rate is only $1,000 and the procedure costs $3,000. We're going to lose money on every one we do. We can't do it anymore. This is a way, you might say, of bringing the market-generated genocide, the free market genocide, into the interior of the Medicare plan. So a lot of people have figured that out, and they don't want it. They're out there defending the New Deal, the late New Deal, the Great Society, Medicare, and Medicaid. Medicaid works the same way. Medicare for those over 65, Medicaid for the poor. We need both. We should be increasing payments to both. It's also interesting in terms of the ideologized elements of the town halls. The woman who made the now famous You Have Awakened a Sleeping Giant intervention on Spectre seems to have fallen to some degree under the Austrian school mystifications that somehow Medicare is unconstitutional. Well, you know, we've had Medicare, we've had Social Security now since 1935, Medicare since 1965. They are constitutional. They're constitutional under the General Welfare Clause. Mark well, O Austrians, the General Welfare Clause, the part that you don't like, the part that your favorite Confederate Constitution of 1861 leaves out. Nowhere to be found, no general welfare. Well, we still have it. Here in the United States, we have the General Welfare Clause. This evolves. It means you've got a right to health care, and it's an economic necessity. It's not just alleviating human suffering in individuals. It's to permit longevity, to permit a life that is long enough so you can get the advanced training and the advanced degrees and education you need to be able to be productive on the level of the 21st century, where we are now. This charming lady, the one with the sleeping giant, was brought on television and was closely questioned by this character O'Donnell of MSNBC and asked, you know, you seem to have this very narrow view of the Constitution. Does that mean that you think Medicare is unconstitutional? And she hems and haws. She sincerely doesn't know. This is a real person. This is not a plant. Like, she's not from the Heartland Institute or the Competitive Enterprise Institute or the she's not from the Austrian school in that sense. Just she's had her head filled with some nonsense. So she hems and haws. And then, do you have parents? Yes. Are they on Medicare? Well, they're approaching it. Does it mean you're going to refuse it? Of course. And she, at that point, she says, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Don't put words in my mouth, and so on and so on. This is the reality. The people that are out there, a lot of them in the same room with her, are there because they want to keep what they have. Obama essentially wants to do away with Medicare. Let me add, I warned about this. Obama's attack on the entitlements was the subject of the leaflet that I wrote for the Potomac primary, the D.C., Maryland, Virginia primary at the beginning of February of last year, more than 1.5 years ago. I wrote one citing Austin Goolsbee and other people in the Obama entourage saying they want to attack Medicare, they want to attack Social Security, they want to privatize it, they want to loot it, and this is the way they're doing it now. So let's just go through the things that people are actually talking about. There are, of course, in addition to the defending Medicare, there are people who want single payer. There's the physicians for the National Health Plan. There are the people who want to come out, and includes Obama's own personal physician, his own attending physician from Chicago is a leading light of the physicians for a National Health Plan. And the arguments are interesting. I don't think you could impose that on everybody at the same time, but this ultimately, if private insurance companies insist on going bankrupt through derivative speculation, this may be the result. People say, can you guarantee that my private insurance will be there? Who in his right mind could guarantee the life of any private insurance company after AIG, The Hartford, now MetLife are all going down? This is the unreality of the entire debate. So people are out there to defend Medicare. They're out there to demand single payer. They're out there protesting euthanasia and death boards, and they're absolutely right to do so. They don't like government takeovers. Well, that you can again say that may be ideology, but then, you know, again, if the government is Obama, that's going to be the result. Deficits and bailouts, meaning taxation also. The arrogance of the ruling class. Above all, they're protesting Obama. Some are there to protest the fact that Obama is weak, that he's a weak entry, that he's the same as Bush. The policies have remained the same. He promised to end the wars. The wars go on. He promised hope and change. There is none. We've got signing statements. We've got secret state secrets. We've got Guantanamo is still chugging along. All of this stuff. There's a personal animosity against him, and a lot of it is because he is so weak. Now, those, I think, and if you look at those themes, you will see that the idea that the complexion of this is right-wing or reactionary is simply baseless. These are human themes, and above all, the baby boomers are fighting back against genocide directed at them. Back in a minute.